everybody, I'm Untitled McCrone.
I'm Brandon Diaz.
And welcome to a E3 packed episode of Birds of Play. Roll that intro. Leave this in. Hello everybody, welcome to Birds of Play, as I said before, on a kind of gloomy day, honestly, in Jacksonville, Florida. The rain's coming down.
The storm's coming in.
Just to give a little bit more explanation, as everybody saw in the intro video, we've been trying to record this episode for a few days now. We've had a couple technical difficulties.
It's not been working out, guys.
We originally wanted to have two separate shows on Wednesday and on Friday.
Yeah.
Wednesday we talk about the main conferences, and Friday we talk about kind of E3 in general.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, with the technical difficulties and time constraints, we've had to kind of combine those shows, which is what this is now.
Yeah.
So we'll be talking about the conferences, not as in-depth as we wanted to. We're talking about E3 in general, not as in-depth as we wanted to. Just letting you guys know. We're still going to talk about the things that we found most interesting, the things that we think are kind of the big game changers that came out of E3.
Yeah.
So
we won't miss any of the big stuff.
Won't miss any of the big stuff. We're going to cover all the conferences still, going from EA to maybe Nintendo.
Maybe
if we
Nintendo.
feel like covering whatever Nintendo did.
I mean, we could mention what they did.
We can mention what they did.
They're an honorable mention.
Just to jump right into it, on Sunday, the first conference of E3, EA, we got some pretty solid gameplay trailers. Not a lot of new stuff, mainly just gameplay trailers.
And I'm still satisfied with it.
Still satisfied, probably like a B, maybe.
Yeah, if we had to grade it at all, I'd give it a solid B. Yeah.
A solid B. Well, one of the big news events that came out of the EA conference was Titanfall 2.
Yeah.
We saw some multiplayer gameplay, which is basically Attack on Titan DLC.
Yeah.
You just have grappling hooks so you can hook the enemies and then cut the small of their necks or whatever
you
that
can grappling hook
was.
pretty much everything.
Pretty much anything.
People, Titans, buildings, whatever you want.
Along with the sequel, there's going to be new Titans, new abilities, kind of general stuff. But the big thing that they showed off was a inclusion of a single-player campaign.
Yeah, I'm sure this was a surprise to everybody.
This was probably a surprise to everybody. It was kind of, honestly, the first game was kind of a surprise in its own because it was a full-fledged $60 launch title that didn't include a story. A lot of people were kind of peeved about that.
It was like a light story.
A light story, like a little co-op kind of campaign that you could do. Well, everyone was at first kind of peeved at that. Once they got into the game and saw how good the multiplayer was, they kind of like, okay, we don't really need a story. The multiplayer is good enough.
It didn't. I'm sure the game play life didn't last as long as they were hoping, but it lasted fairly long and enough to do a second game.
I mean, honestly, this single player campaign looks really interesting. It goes mainly into like the relationship that a Titan and a pilot has with each other. You know, you kind of have like the three laws of robotics that the Titan now recites. Yeah, recites. Yeah. As all robot sentient AIs do in all movies, iRobot.
Jeez.
So
Terminator's coming.
it should be pretty interesting to see kind of if at all that plays out. I hope it does, honestly.
Yeah. They have like an actual relationship too, because the Titan's like semi-sentient, I guess you could say.
A little bit, as far as robots can go from iRobot.
Yeah.
We've all learned from the Will Smith universe how bad robots
Will Smith dealt with it.
Will Smith dealt with it. We didn't really see, honestly, much else besides the single player. It was mainly like a focus on the single player.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you saw some new abilities. They didn't really have names or anything. So, like, there was like a ground wave and a Attack on Titan. So, so really not much there. That's coming out October 28th, 2016.
Yeah, 28th, yeah.
So, I mean, look out for that. It's probably going to be good. Moving on to something that I was very, very excited for.
I feel like everybody
was dying to see. Snoop Dogg himself was there.
Terry Crews.
Being excited about it.
Zac Efron.
They were all high.
We saw them at that live stream.
Battlefield 1, saw gameplay. Like in the trailer shortly, but then we saw a lot of streaming gameplay. A lot of like YouTubers came out to play.
32 on 32. Right after the release.
Sniper gameplay, blimp, plane, tank, light tank, land ship, all of that jazz. It looks, amazing. It has dynamic weather, which I always really like when they include that into games.
It looks so cool. It makes everything look so much better. They have the fog, the rain, the sun.
Rain will come in randomly and stuff like that. The combat looks really good. It looks like, I guess I'll say, a lot more Battlefieldy than I thought it was going to be.
It looks very fluid, though.
Because the World War I setting, I thought would or at least I kind of presumed it would change up the way they played the game. It still looks kind of like the same Battlefield. Hopefully we'll have some maps where it's in the trenches, so you can kind of have more of a World War I feel.
Trench-centric maps, maybe even game modes where it's like, if you've seen Verdun, guys, where it's like very trench warfare, where you have to jump from trench to trench while running.
Still very actiony though. Like when you say trench warfare, people don't really think. It's still a lot of action.
Oh yeah.
Ton of combat, close quarters, stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Looks very good. One thing I kind of noticed while looking in Reddit and stuff, like the days after the announcement and the gameplay reveal, this game was already catching flack, as EA games and DICE games tend to do, because one thing that EA did, which we kind of didn't want them to do, was say, "Oh, Battlefield 1's coming out. Also, here's some DLC that'll be released later on with it." And while normally it's like, okay, it's like a map or like an extra weapon, this time it was an entirely new faction, which is France.
Oh yeah.
Which was a major player.
I thought that was weird.
In the World War theater, so it's like very strange that's not included at launch when the U.S. is included at launch when they didn't really do much in the war.
I mean,
honestly.
we were in the war, but like the tail end of it, France was in it through the entire thing.
The entire
right?
thing, they did a lot of the fighting. It was mainly on their fronts, on their homeland.
Didn't we see some French stuff that was like exclusive to the French?
Yeah, like they had some tanks and there's some weapons that are exclusively French. And you're obviously, a lot of the maps are in French towns and French villages, so it's kind of strange that the French would be considered a DLC. Like I feel like the U.S. would make sense as DLC because like they came in later anyway, so kind of makes sense historically. It's got a nice little joke, but that was those. Well, at least we considered the two kind of big reveals. Not really reveals, but the big things to see at E3's conference or EA's conference. Excuse me. Some other stuff. There was some new Star Wars news.
Yeah.
A new Battlefront game, I think.
Yeah, new Battlefront next year by Dice and Motive.
A visceral game coming out. That's Star Wars related.
Maybe it'll be like Dead Space X.
Something like that. We saw 6 seconds of footage from that, so there's a flag
it looked
in it.
good.
There's a
that
plane
was a good
in it.
6 seconds.
You're on some kind of moisture farm.
Yeah, moisture farm's
You're on
coming
some
back,
kind
guys.
of moisture farm. It says here new action adventure from Respawn. What is that?
It's just like it's gonna take place. It's a third-person game taking place new universe, new timeline in the Star Wars universe. We don't know much more than that, but Respawn's working on it. I'm pretty sure they worked on Titanfall. They're the Titanfall guys.
I do my research because I don't know the answer to that question. Moving on past that, so I can save myself some face. Mass Effect Andromeda. It was shown off. They showed off really kind of like what they do in the early stage when the game is not even near done. Here's how we made the characters. Here's how the physics kind of work. Here's our models moving around.
It looks good.
It still looks
early
good.
Stages look great.
From that, still looks good. It kind of seemed a little bit more like, I guess, explorer-y. And the other game's like a little bit more dire, a little bit, but still some hope.
You're branching out from the Milky Way, going into the Andromeda Galaxy.
Well, and as we know, at the end of Mass Effect 3, from I think all of the choices, you lost like all of the mass relays, so you lost all.
I think so, yeah.
Like intergalactic travel, so it's interesting to see how they recover from that, and then expand into different whole wherever the Milky Way.
I think even in the trailer they were talking about it took them like light years.
Yeah.
Even though that's like a distance, right?
Yeah.
But it took them a long time to get to Andromeda.
But I think you can do both. I think you can use light years as either one. Because
I
when you
guess
say
so.
like 6 light years, people are like, oh, it's that. It's because it's how long it takes light to travel to this distance.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a distance, and we are not
Measurement
scientists.
of time.
We are
Guys,
not scientists. We don't do our research.
this
We
is
shouldn't be
not-
we shouldn't be at this set. Well, to save ourselves as much face as possible, moving away from that, going into the next conference of the day, Bethesda. Once again, a big theme of this year's E3 apparently was not showing off a lot of new games. It was really just showing off games that they already announced, just new content from them.
I think that was a general theme
For E3,
a through line
E3.
through the conferences.
Right.
Just that people know what's coming out and they want to see more of it. It wasn't too many
And
of a surprise
that's
here.
not a bad thing. I wish we kind of saw more new stuff. I always love new stuff.
Really?
God. Well, just moving straight into it, the first thing we really saw that was really brought our attention was Dishonored 2. We saw finally some long gameplay from it. We saw the new area a little bit, Karnaca. You go from Dunwall to Karnaca.
Yeah, and then back to Dunwall. Apparently, the majority of the game takes place in Karnaca.
I mean, it's the new area, so we saw a little bit of Emily's powers. Like she has Far Reach, Domino, Doppelganger, Shadow Walk.
Yeah, that thing was cool.
You're basically just a monster, man. I mean, honestly, it looks like a lot of these games. It looks kind of like the Dishonored 1, but just new and updated. Emily's powers, except for really I saw Domino, the rest seem kind of similar to Corvo's.
Yeah.
Like Far Reach is basically just blink.
Yeah.
Shadow Walk is kind of just like the fast gust one because you're just moving fast and it's an easy kill.
And you can kill people with it. It's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys saw the cinematic in the gameplay trailers.
So I mean, obviously, I don't think these are all of her powers.
Yeah, of course.
And at least these are probably the first level of her powers, so
a new upgrade pass for all of his powers, so they'll
tree.
they'll be different from what you played in Dishonored 1.
A tree of whale bones.
Ooh, whalebone charm.
I
will eventually turn into just a whale.
You plant it in the ground and you get a tree, then you get a whale. That's how whales are born, kids.
Yeah.
We are spouting a lot of pseudoscience here today. Well, just to, again, save as much face as possible from the science community, going right into the next one, Prey. It's not Prey 2. It's not Prey 3. It's just Prey.
I'm sure everybody saw the trailers for Prey 2. They look like a bounty hunter game. This one, not so much.
It's not a remaster, it's a reboot, right?
It's a reboot, yeah. They're bringing back the franchise, starting from new.
It looks really good, because, I mean, we didn't see any gameplay, because it's kind of still in the early development.
Yeah.
It was just cinematic, I guess?
Yeah, it looked like a cinematic. It was kind of Groundhog Day-esque.
I got like a Bioshock kind of vibe, but at least near the end, especially a Bioshock
The guy
vibe.
kept waking up, reliving the same day, but he kept checking his eye, and it looked different.
There was blood in there.
Yeah. It kept on getting worse every time.
So it kind of like, got a Bioshock vibe. The monsters seem kind of more like a...
They're like shadowy.
They're like shadowy, a little bit more mysterious, a little bit more alien, I guess you can say.
We didn't get a good look at them, but they look pretty spooky.
They look kind of slimy and spooky.
Yeah. And we saw like scientists saying they need to do some more tests on him.
We saw a mirror that he talked into.
That talked back to him.
That talked back to him as a different person saying, hey, listen, I'm your mirror self. I know what's up, guy. I live in the mirror world. It's way better here.
You should get over here. Less bloodshot eyes.
No, I mean, it's just we know it's going to be released sometime in 2017. So we're probably going to hear about it, obviously, in the later months, in the coming months. Probably, maybe even next E3. We might see some gameplay then.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll see some gameplay before that.
Yeah, I'm expecting more trailers and stuff to get people excited about it.
Mm-hmm. And just kind of that was announced kind of along the same time frame. There are some new Doom maps, some new Doom game modes. Kind of your standard FPS stuff. It's good that they're still supporting it.
Yeah, obviously, I like post-launch support. It's always good.
Quake Champions got announced. It's your classic Quake gameplay with heroes and you shoot big.
Well, this Quake didn't start off with heroes. I think id is trying to get into the hero-based shooters. They see it's very popular with Overwatch and like Team Fortress 2. That was really big. And I think they're trying to get into it. I hope it works out.
It'll probably be good.
I'm interested.
I mean, people still play like Quake 1. Like they still do that on PC. So
very much
it'll probably be pretty big. But going into, I don't really know if this is the biggest announcement, but a big announcement. It was stuff with Fallout 4.
It felt like the meat of it because Bethesda is known for like their Fallout franchise.
Mr. Howard came out announcing the last 3 DLC for Fallout 4. Only barely a year. Has it even been a year?
I think the last one's being released in August. So
in August.
Just under a year.
Just under a year,
support.
And they're already stopping like full content support with it. They might get some stuff with updates,
like little patches here and there, maybe.
But I mean, these are the major content DLC that we're not going to be seeing anymore. Less than a year after release. That's kind of scary, especially since
it's unsettling.
What, like 4 of them have been workshop DLC?
Yeah.
Not really like full, story ones. I mean, like a lot of people on the internet and everything have been saying that while those ones are enjoyable and they add a pretty good, thing of the game, you don't really play Fallout games for the building. You play it mainly for the story.
Yeah, building's it's a fun addition, but like the meat, what you want from Fallout is the story DLC. Like Fallout 3 got 4, New Vegas got 4.
All like intertwining too, so that was really cool.
In this one, we're only getting 2 with 4 workshop DLCs.
And especially the way people feel kind of like unsatisfied with the way Fallout 4, the main story, kind of like
it was lacking.
It was very lacking. Like it goes downhill very, very fast. And then you get Far Harbor, which is the first story DLC. Very good.
Very
a lot
fun.
of people liked it.
Very Point Lookout-esque, which is a very good DLC from Fallout 3.
And then you get, this last one's called Nuclear World, by the way, comes out August 2016. Your last story DLC.
Takes place in an amusement park.
Takes place in an amusement park. People were pretty kind of worried, honestly, because they heard, it takes place in an amusement park. That's like a town now. Yeah. Everyone's excited. Then they hear it's run by raiders. Everyone kind of felt suspicious and groaned a little bit because if you played Fallout 4 and you see a raider, your only option is to shoot and stab.
Yeah, pretty much. There's no diplomacy there.
Unlike in Fallout 3 where you can maybe make a deal, get bribed,
like with
your way out.
The slavers at Paradise Falls.
Paradise Falls, a lot of that. So we didn't see that in the base game. Hopefully we see that in this DLC. Because it'll be a pretty big faction, obviously.
I think there are rumors going around where you get to lead the raiders, become like a commander, I guess.
Now, the thing I ask about that is, do you lead the raiders just in this world or in the main wasteland? Because if it's just in that world or that zone, it'd be kind of a waste of an opportunity.
I hope it expands because that would be great if you become like a leader of the gunners.
Something like that, yeah. I mean, that's cool to see. I mean, still, like a year, just less than a year after release, they don't support it anymore. That's really sad to see. I wonder if they kind of saw that Fallout 4 wasn't the most successful thing. Obviously the numbers it was, but kind of in general.
Just in forums and talk about it, people are mainly disappointed. They're
it's not the
we
worst
expected
game,
more.
But it's also not people completely praise Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. Completely.
It's not the best.
It's not the best, and people have expressed that, especially a lot of the mechanics and a lot of the way the story works. So maybe they're kind of sweeping under the rug a little bit.
Yeah.
Just kind of like get it out of the way. Which, I mean, at least they're still supporting it. You know, it's better than just saying, oh, we're done with it. You know, we hated it. It's bad. We're done.
Yeah.
So at least we're getting something, you know. Kind of the one that went on right after that is some new Fallout Shelter stuff coming out in July of this year. You get Dweller quests, Overseer stuff.
Big update.
New combat. It comes on PC now.
Yeah.
Which, you know, is pretty good.
It's good. More post-launch support. I love it.
Well, not my cup of tea. I like seeing, you know, new ventures because it's their first mobile game that was really successful. They had one for Rage, I think, but that was
it was like gimmicky.
It was gimmicky a little bit. This one is actually really unique and it's working out really well. They're making a lot of money from it, which is money's good.
It's
makes people happy.
It's not our cup of tea, but I can see why other people would like it. It's just like a passive game. You let it run on your phone. Come back to it eventually.
I'd probably give honestly Bethesda like a B.
Yeah,
again,
another B.
Like pretty standard stuff.
I mean, nothing surprising.
Nothing surprising.
They're reliable though. You know what you can expect from them.
But going on to Monday's conferences, the first one, Microsoft, started out with some very.
They started strong.
Started strong with some very interesting hardware and kind of like new feature announcements.
Yeah,
new
initiatives.
The games were kind of lackluster because we were either expecting them or have already seen them before. I think we should actually probably go into them a little bit more because we probably won't. We'll talk about the features a little bit more. So we're just going right into the games, kind of listing them off. Gears of War 4, just called Gears 4, the kiddie show, where you play as most of the main characters' kids. It's more Gears, so you know.
Yeah.
If you like Gears, play Gears.
It looks
Gears
good.
4.
I mean, long lost cousin, Kate Diaz in it. Gotta play as her.
You know,
and
I'm gonna play as the Marcus Phoenix one, which
JD, I think.
Yeah.
And then there's Dell.
Who's that? Which one's that?
Last guy, black guy.
Cole.
Coltrane.
Coltrane. I hope he's in there. I hope he's just there. Like he's like, no, son, it's my show now.
Yeah.
Because Coltrane was probably the best character.
He was very fun.
He was very fun. Moving on a little bit, Sea of Thieves, your online multiplayer pirate bash game. You can explore islands and drink grog and fight ships with your friends.
It looks fun.
It looks really fun. Once again, not really much seen about it. It was mainly just like a short little gameplay thing. Most of these games on this list are just short gameplay things.
Yeah, it looks promising then.
Looks promising. Dead Rising 4, Frank West is back. He's doing tweets. He's
taking selfies with zombies.
He's in the same mall as the first game. And
back in Wilmette.
Oddly enough, it seems like it has a Christmas theme.
Yeah, that was kind of surprising about the trailer. It was very Christmas oriented.
I mean, it's probably going to launch in the holiday season. The reason they did that.
Yeah.
But if they decide to go with a full Christmas theme for the whole game, it's going to get very old very fast.
I hope it changes with the seasons.
I hope it changes with the seasons. I hope like just one area is kind of Christmas themed and the rest are normal because all Christmas all the time is not good. You get very, very bored.
Yeah.
Halo Wars 2 was also announced. Well, not announced, but
is
we
it
saw
announced,
some gameplay.
man? Is it announced?
It is announced. They revealed that there's going to be a beta for it in the summer of
Xbox Live exclusive.
Live exclusive in the summer of this year.
I think, yeah.
Like sometime this year. Don't do the research. So I mean, it's more Halo Wars, more good. You fight a Master Chieftain man. So you know, it looks pretty cool. Brute Master Chieftain man.
Yeah. It looks it's like a better version of Halo Wars 1.
Like
looks
a lot
better.
of these games, it's just kind of a better version of the old games.
Can't complain.
Can't complain. Talking about, speaking of a new game, though.
Kind of.
CD Projekt Red showed off their Gwent game.
Gwent, oh gosh.
Gwent, the famous card game from Witcher 3 that everybody loved.
Yeah, very much so.
They showed it off, not a lot, but it looks really cool. All the cards seem to have like little sprites and animations with them.
Yeah, they're reworking, rebalancing it because it was firstly rebalanced because you're playing AI.
You can get very overpowered very quickly.
Who needs to be incredibly balanced when you're just playing the AI?
And there's also a beta with that one coming out in September. We'll probably have a link down below so you can see. You can sign up for all the betas yourself.
Any links for anything we talk about today be in the YouTube description.
So much content. The last game that Microsoft showed off before we get to like the other announcements was State of Decay 2. Once again, it's just a guy walking. You saw some of the graphics. It looks kind of the same as the first one, but
yeah, there's like time lapse of the camps.
Multiplayer this time.
You get to play with your friends like you should have been able to do in the first one, but hey, better late than never. And this game looks like it'll have more content and whatnot.
Because the first one did well. The first one was pretty fun. Obviously, you need to work out some kinks and stuff like that.
Had its bugs here and there.
Hopefully, we'll figure it out. Getting into kind of the meat of Microsoft's conference, they introduced one new initiative and two new projects. First off, kind of getting the good news, it's the Play Anywhere system.
Yeah.
And that just goes with all of the games we mentioned here today. Basically, what it means is if you buy a game digitally on the Xbox One, and then you go to the Windows Store on your Windows 10 PC, you can play it there as well.
Yeah, and vice versa. If you buy it on Windows 10, you can play it on your Xbox.
Which is awesome. And I actually, I was a little nervous at first because I thought,
understandably
if
so.
you play on Windows 10, do you still need like an Xbox Live Gold subscription?
Yeah.
And I read an article today. I don't have the quote because I'm stupid, but I believe it said that you only need Xbox Live to play multiplayer capabilities on the Xbox One console.
Makes sense.
It says specifically like Xbox Live on Xbox One. So it leads me to believe that Windows 10 you don't need Xbox Live, which would be fantastic.
Is good to hear because I had my time in the Xbox. I'm a PC guy now.
Yeah, fully on PC.
PC Master.
We might get some PS4s. You'll find out why later on the show a little bit.
Guys.
But I mean, it's really good news to hear, especially because they're introducing them crossplay with it. Anyone on Xbox can play on anyone with Windows 10 PC, which is really nice. Crossplay is always good. Getting the gamers into just one big family.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. With that announcement, or actually right before that was the first thing, Xbox announced the new Xbox One, called the Xbox One Slim, coming out in August for $300. It's 40% smaller than the Xbox One, has up to 2 terabytes of storage, power brick inside, 4K video output.
Yeah, it
same
looks
graphics quality for games and stuff.
It looks very modern.
Looks very modern. I feel like this is the Xbox that Microsoft wanted to release originally, but they didn't have the time or the resources to actually make it. Because this seems like the Xbox Prime. They don't say interested in the console.
Oh yeah, it seems like the Xbox One that was released originally. It was just like getting it out. The PS4 was announced, and Microsoft probably felt rushed. They're like, we need to get something out, or we're gonna lose the market.
And it looks very, very cool, but to move on a little bit, kind of to also shoot Microsoft's foot a little bit.
Microsoft shot themselves in the foot with this one.
I am falling apart. They announced near the end of the conference, very strangely, very randomly, a thing called Project Scorpio.
Yeah.
Which is basically what we've come to believe and what they've actually kind of said a little bit, is it's a new console coming out in 2017.
Yeah.
Just a year after they released the Xbox One Slim. Just under 4 years, I think it'll be, that they released the Xbox One. Not good. I mean, honestly, because the 360 lasted 10 years before they announced
they had a
Xbox
solid
One.
decade out of the Xbox 360.
And the one barely lasts 4 years before they throw out whatever this thing is.
Yeah, the Slim and then this.
And then the Slim and then this. And just the way they kind of advertised it a little bit. Apparently, it will have 6 teraflops of graphical processing power, which is a lot.
It's very fast. That's incredibly fast.
It'll be able to output all video in 4K and all games in 4K. So that's very cool. But and it is very cool. It'll probably, we don't have a price yet. It'll probably be like $600, $800 maybe. $800
yeah,
a little
around there. I can't expect it to be any less.
While it's very cool, it brings up the question, well, if you have that one, which is a million times better than the Xbox One Slim, why even bother producing the Slim?
I feel like this was very counterintuitive in the conference, because why would you announce the Slim, which is like a upgraded Xbox One, and then completely overshadow that announcement by
releasing the Scorpio.
Announcing the Scorpio,
announcing the Scorpio.
Because why would you buy the Slim if you can just have to wait a year for the Scorpio?
And it's not even like a slight difference in quality. It's a massive difference in quality.
Huge.
And even because some games, that will be available, that were available on Xbox One, you can still play them at 360 because it wasn't that much of a power difference. I don't think you'll be able to play games from the Scorpio and easily downgrade them to the Xbox One quality.
It'll definitely involve
because it's such a
some
major
effort,
difference of processing power and graphical uses
fidelity,
and stuff. Fidelity and stuff like that. It's such a major difference. It seems very strange that they announce this thing when they don't have a lot to show off, and the only thing it really does is undermine the Xbox One Slim announcement.
Very much so, yeah.
Kind of strange. Overall, I think I would give Microsoft, probably before the Scorpio announcement, a B+ maybe, because I like the games they have.
It was a good conference.
But after the announcement, probably a C+, because they just shot themselves in the foot. They didn't do good.
I think overall, even before the announcement of the Scorpio, I would have given them like a C+. Just because it was a good conference. Kind of underwhelming though. Most people kind of expected a lot of the stuff to come out, especially since leaks came out before the conference.
Leaks.
But I mean, it wasn't bad. Can't complain.
Once again, standard. Not a bad thing, but not necessarily a good thing either to be standard at these
like we said earlier, a through line through what felt like through most of the conferences. Nothing new, just stuff we expected.
Moving on to the 4th conference at E3, Ubisoft. Not really a lot of content shown.
Nah.
It was mainly either stuff we already knew or stuff that we weren't really expecting that we didn't really want, honestly, like that bird game and the Just Dance game.
Eagle Flight, Just Dance 2017.
It's like, sure, but basically.
I mean, not that exciting.
I mean, a game that was really cool that was there was Steep. The giant mountain rage sports simulator.
Yeah, action sports simulator. Takes place on multiple mountains. You get to ski, snowboard, paraglide, and wingsuit. It looks really fun. You can compete with friends.
Looks really cool. Now, the only question I kind of have is, these type of games, unless they have like a ton of maps and a ton of space and everything, they can get pretty boring and pretty like tried and true pretty quick.
Yeah, it becomes very repetitive.
Yeah. So hopefully, like they know then they'll keep the game up to date with like new maps and everything. Because I'd really hate to see a game like this, which is very like ambitious, kind of falter, and then everyone will be like, oh, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to try anything like that. Because it looks very cool. Like I said, it looks very ambitious. It'll look great in VR, I think. One of the few games I think will actually work in VR.
Incredible in VR.
It looks very cool. I hope they kind of keep up with it a little bit and update it needily as need be.
I'm hoping for some post-launch support. Not a lot of games, or a lot of games get it. Some games don't that really need it.
Like Fallout 4.
I mean, they're getting it, but not for as long as we had hoped for.
Hopefully. Moving on a little bit to the games that we knew were going to be there. Wildlands was shown. Kind of your standard.
A full mission of gameplay.
A full mission, but still just in some random guy's like drug den, not like a city or forest or desert. I still want to see one of those because it'd be really interesting to see how like AI and maybe animals if they're there play into it and everything. Yeah. I mean, it looks sleek. It looks fine. Nothing too flashy.
I want to see some civilian interaction.
I mean, it's your standard like kind of open world shoot 'em up game. So.
It's deeper because it's Ghost Recon, man. We're in the wildlands.
We're in the wildlands. Hopefully we'll be seeing some more of that because, I mean, one mission is okay, but we already saw one mission. I want more of the open world. I want desert,
I want to see how big the map is.
I want to see how big the map is. I want a full gameplay of the map and everything. So hopefully we're getting some of that. One that was announced near that was Watch Dogs 2.
Watch Dogs 2, I'm very excited.
Looks a lot more, I guess, sleek, a lot more streamlined, a lot more jovial than the first game. The first game was very dark for no reason.
It took itself very seriously.
Very seriously for no reason. There's a man with a Daft Punk face in this one.
Yeah.
The kid said swear words a lot.
It looks very more upbeat. The parkour is a lot more fleshed out. Because it was kind of in Watch Dogs 1, but in this one, they put a lot more work into it. It looks a lot better.
And even though the tried and true saying, don't trust Ubisoft, especially when it comes to Watch Dogs, that we learned from E3
Easily.
I mean, this one looks more like a standard game. It looks like it's a lot less flashy. We actually saw some gameplay that could have been real.
It looks more realistic,
more believable. So hopefully they didn't lie too much. Hopefully it stays the same kind of game.
I'm excited. I'm going to keep my eye on it.
We'll keep my eye on it.
I'm not going to pre-order because, pre-ordering enables bad business practices by the companies, but I'm excited for it.
Kind of the other big announcement that came out of Ubisoft was For Honor. We saw that has a story now, which is cool.
Yeah, surprising. Out of nowhere, because last E3...
It was just a battle.
It looked just like it was going to be a battle arena where you fight other dudes. This one, it looks like it's going to go a lot deeper.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully, the story doesn't get too kind of convoluted, because there was a character called Apollyon, which maybe she had some magic powers.
She looks like she's the antagonist, kind of goading on the battle between the three groups: the Vikings, the Knights, and the Samurai.
I hope it doesn't get too kind of deep and convoluted. I hope they just keep it mainly battle fighting, which is what I want to see. Battle fighting. I love battle fighting.
The story, I'm interested though. I wasn't expecting the story. Maybe it's going to be really good. Maybe these guys are natural storytellers.
We saw some Viking cannibal combat, so it'll probably be fun. It'll be fun. Maybe not really the best story, but it works. Going into a game that kind of will probably have a bit better story. South Park: The Fractured Butthole.
Fractured Butthole.
The Dark Souls message in the title. It's great. It's basically the Stick of Truth, but with superheroes now, kind of less fantasy, more Marvel superheroes, as the kids like the superheroes nowadays. So
superheroes are cool, man.
Yeah. And it's kind of cool because the Stick of Truth was kind of a tie-in to the whole Game of Thrones episode series that they had on South Park series, but this one looks. Now I haven't been keeping up with South Park too much. This one kind of looks like it's its own thing, its own story. Which would be really cool.
Yeah.
I kind of hope they kind of stick with it because the Stick of Truth was really fun, and this one looks really fun. It looks really interesting.
Stick of Truth was incredible. The story was it was surprisingly compelling, for as compelling as a South Park game can get. But it was fun. I'm excited. The gameplay was great, very RPG. I wasn't expecting it to be as fun as it was. I think I beat it in 3 days. Just that's all I played.
It's kind of a casual game, It's just saying RPG turn based, so it's kind of casual.
It was fun.
I really hope they keep with it though, because I mean.
Have you seen the trailer though?
Yeah.
They bash on DC. It was great.
I hope they keep them up because these games are great. into like Ubisoft mainly had games, which is always good. They had one kind of announcement type thing.
Like an initiative that they're doing for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
They're releasing free games on a monthly basis. So that means 6 free games throughout the rest of the year. Don't know if they're going to continue into next year. But starting this month, June, we're getting Prince of Persia, Sands of Time for free.
Free's good.
Yeah.
Free's good. Not much really can say about that because Free's always good. Maybe we'll get some Assassin's Creed games in there. Maybe some newer titles, which would be really nice.
Maybe we'll get some Ghost Recon stuff closer to Ghost Recon.
Maybe we'll get Ghost Recon Wildlands for free.
Oh, man.
There's all of these games. You're hearing it here first, folks. All these games that we said are free.
Oh, yeah.
Available in my garage.
Just wait for it. They'll show up eventually. Just don't hold us to it, though.
No, they won't, guys. Don't sue us, please.
Just keep your eyes peeled on your mailbox. You'll get them in your mail.
Ubisoft, in general, I'd give probably, once again, a B minus because nothing really happened.
Considering that the only thing that got me super excited was Steep, because the rest of the stuff, it was cool. Wildlands, Watch Dogs already announced. We saw stuff from them already. I'd give it a C.
Nothing too bad.
I was mostly excited about Steep.
Well, to move on from this lackluster pile of crap that we've been talking about, we get to the golden god of E3, Sony. The Magic Man coming out on stage, triple S star ranking, whatever that means. It's the best one.
I give it an A++++.
Plussy plus plus. It was fantastic. It was very well thought out, very well timed. They had a live orchestra.
It was super organized too.
The orchestra provided all the live music for all of the game shows. It was amazing.
It was a really good conference.
It was only an hour and 49 minutes, which is great because it's short, it's sweet, it's right to the point.
Gave us everything we wanted.
Maybe 30 minutes of businessman talk, which is really good.
Yeah, that's impressive considering the rest of them were just full of it.
It was mainly games, which is fantastic. Speaking of which,
they had a curtain, dude.
They had a curtain, and they had a stage that was all TV screens.
It was
I don't even know how you make that. But getting right to the games, the first one we saw, new God of War, old man Kratos, hitting it up with his kid in the forest.
Yeah, Charlie.
Slaying deer. His name's really Charlie.
From what I've read, Kratos named his son Charlie.
You are the son of the God of War. You are Charlie.
Charlie.
The great Charles.
Don't bite me, Charlie.
The combat looks fantastic. You have force powers with an ice axe.
Yeah.
That looks pretty cool.
Yeah, you had the lightning bow.
The lightning bow. Some interesting things, I saw, where if your kid, said, oh, there are tracks here. And a little thing popped up saying tracking plus 15.
Yeah, it looks like
really interesting.
It might be another RPG. We're getting full of RPGs,
full
guys.
RPGs.
But, I won't complain. I'm probably going to get a PS4 for it.
Probably. For the first game, we have a little counter up. All the games you're going to say we're going to get PS4 for.
Pretty much.
We already said 3 times now, before we even got to Sony.
How many times have we said we're going to get PS4s? All the times.
All the times. One interesting thing I heard and saw was the biggest enemy you kill, which is what Kratos is known for, is a troll. And he says something like, I'll send you to Valhalla, along those lines.
Yeah, the
Very
troll,
interesting because, God of War is in the Greek pantheon. Now it seems like we're moving into the Nordic pantheon a little bit, especially with the inclusion of a dragon at the end of the trailer.
It was very strange.
Heavy Nordic stuff.
And if you guys remember, spoiler alert, even though this game is pretty old, God of War 3, you run yourself through with a really big sword, and you release hope into the world. It was
that means.
It was like a blue mist, and
I like how at the end of that the end of that kind of sequence, Athena even goes, "Whatever this means."
What does this mean? Yeah, but I'm curious to know how Kratos comes back. It left off on kind of a cliffhanger because Kratos' body wasn't there anymore. Maybe the Norse gods brought him back. Maybe
when gods are in your story, you can pretty much do whatever you want and just say a god.
True.
I hope he helps out the Nordic pantheon because I like them a lot more than the Greeks. I don't want to see Loki die.
Maybe he's working for them as payment for bringing them back to life, giving him a son.
Not really. Well, just to skip that because I want to talk about that a lot. The next kind of game that they showed off was a new biker post-apocalyptic game. Days Gone. Looks very much like The Last of Us. A lot more dialogue.
Yeah, when I first saw it, I thought it was The Last of Us.
It's very interesting though because it's very obviously you were part of a biker gang in the regular life.
Yeah, you have the denim jacket.
With the 1% tag on there. It's interesting to see why they would kind of pick him.
Yeah,
because normally you don't see.
Special?
Normally you don't see these two type of genres, biker and zombie apocalypse, mixed together. It's very interesting to see. Also, just the way that the zombies work. There were hundreds on screen.
Hordes. There were so many of them. It was kind of overwhelming.
Even when he had a machine gun mowing them down, they were just piling on top of each other.
It was very World War Z.
Very World War Z. I think it's really good because most games that are in the zombie apocalypse don't really give off the dire sense that they want to. Like, they try to do it with set pieces and everything, but you never really feel it.
They usually stick with the shambling, slow ones that aren't truly a threat.
But this one, it feels dire. Because, I mean, there are hundreds, you obviously can't beat them.
They're
you just
after you.
They're after you. It looks very, very cool. I'm very interested in it. No, like, much info on it. The only gameplay we saw was him running away from a horde, so nothing much. We don't know if humans are going to be a thing. So,
I want to know why this guy's special. Why are we following him?
It brought up a lot of interest. A really cool announcement that came out of Sony's conference was the remastering of the Crash Bandicoot series 1, 2, and Warped.
Oh,
very, very cool.
Nostalgia's already kicking in.
I personally never played those games, but I'm excited to buy my 6 PS4s and get them.
Good.
I'm very excited because a lot of people are saying, like, I played them as a kid. They were kind of my first foray into, like, kind of more intense, like, not really intense, but like more, I guess, interactive and like Crash Bandicoot, there are a lot of like collectibles.
They're your
adventure
games.
Adventure games. So I'm very interested to buy my PS4 6 times and play it.
Who knows? Maybe they'll remaster Crash Bandicoot Racing, the party games. Hopefully, those are fun.
Maybe. We'll see. The only really, which is good, the only really techie kind of announcement-y thing that came out of Sony was PlayStation VR.
Yeah.
They have some games coming out for, like, there's going to be an X-Wing game with it, which should be fun.
Yeah.
There's going to be a Batman game with it, which will be interesting. There's a new IP that's coming out with it, Farpoint. You're on Mars, you're a spaceman.
Yeah, and you're like an explorer finding out what's on this foreign planet.
We really didn't see much from it, honestly. But the one big game that they said could be played from start to finish with VR, not necessarily a VR-only title, was the new Resident Evil. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Looks cool. Looks like it's going back to classic Resident Evil. Very horror, very scary.
Honestly, when I saw the trailer, from the beginning, it looked like kind of PT, because you wake up in kind of the PT, like a little shack that you were in. You see the mannequins, which is very Silent Hill. You see the decrepit, gross, like pot of whatever, which is very Silent Hill PT. The bugs, very Silent Hill PT.
Yeah.
Then you see the guy walk across and go, oh, that's not really what
Silent
PT was about. Then you pick up the one VHS tape and it's like, oh, this is Resident Evil, very obviously. Then you put the tape and it's scary. So, I'm very excited for it. I love the Resident Evil games.
Looks like it'll be super scary in VR.
Super scary.
Super.
Get your Scream cams going, boys. Get all those millions of views on the YouTube.
Go on channel.
It'll probably be very cool, but to get to my game of the year already. We haven't even seen anything. We've seen a picture in this weird-ass video. It was also probably my announcement of the year, because the way they brought it out is a businessman came out and said some words, and then he said, and now please join me in welcoming the most visionary man in gaming today. And the curtain just goes up, and it's just Hideo Kojima at the top. He's like, hello. He just kind of just walks down. The floor forms under him. He gets down to the stage, and he basically just says, hello, I am Hideo Kojima. I am back. Here's my game. And then he just leaves. It's the only announcement he needed.
He's such a rock star.
It's perfect. It's the only announcement he needed. And then we get into the actual trailer for Death Stranding, the new IP from Hideo Kojima.
It looks so weird.
It starts out on a beach. There are whale carcasses with umbilical cords in them and ooze everywhere.
There's like invisible hands leading up to a nude Norman Reedus.
A naked Norman Reedus, my favorite image of E3. He has a baby attached to himself. Doesn't make any sense.
There's like C-section lines on his stomach.
He gets up, seemingly confused that he had a baby in the first place.
Yeah, like,
sees the four kings with a new addition from Dark Souls.
And then the baby turns into oil on
Norman
his
Reedus
hands.
seems to get very tense. His butt tenses up a little bit.
Yeah,
he's
you can see the clenching.
ready.
You can see the clenching.
Then you see, the splash screen, Death Stranding.
You even had like cool. Dog tags with like math equations on it.
I'm very interested in this, one from that trailer, and two from the image we saw earlier which is presumably Norman Reedus in this death astronaut suit with a giant skull face.
Yeah, it looks so cool.
It looks so interesting. I'm so interested. I'm so amazed.
I mean,
I love it.
I don't know if I'm excited. I'm interested because that was a weird trailer and I want to know why.
I 100% will buy this game 8 times with all 28 of my PS4s.
We're up to 28.
Yep.
28 already.
And also, we're sending everyone who's watching a free PS. No, we're not. No,
just wait. Just keep checking your mailbox.
For all those free games, all those free PS4s.
It'll be there eventually. Just keep checking.
Just keep checking, guys. Don't sue us, please. Well, that kind of wraps up Sony's. Sony's conference. They didn't show a lot, but it was a lot of great content, a lot of great games.
It was just endless games. There's little talking.
As I said before, Sony was my winner of E3. Would you say the same?
I think we could agree on that. I feel like most people would too.
It was the only one that didn't feel standard. It felt unique and out there,
Yeah, even if you aren't like a PlayStation kind of guy, I feel like you can agree. There's some big reveals here.
Very cool games. Well, guys, that covers the not, I guess, the main topics we want to talk about at these conferences because we just, with a technical.
But like the conference talk?
The big stuff that we want to talk about. Very, very cool. Very good E3.
Excited.
Probably overall like a B+ E3, I think. It was very good.
Yeah.
Not a lot of cringe, which was good.
Yeah, it was I think overall like a B-. Solid B. It was nothing surprising. It was solid though.
It was
a lot of stuff I wanted to see that they showed, and hope next year is better.
Very solid. We're gonna take a quick little break, guys. Then we're gonna come back and we're gonna kind of talk about what we think from this year's E3 will be a success in the future, what will be a failure, what will be lies, what is truth. So please join us in a second. Birds of Play. I'm gonna take my drink. And cut. The bad pit is back. Coming at you again, the water pit, everybody. Welcome back to Birds of Play.
That was a lot of water.
Still talking E3. I just want to talk a little bit, kind of overall, what do we think is going to be a big success in the coming months, in the coming year from this E3? What do we think is going to be a big failure? What are the lies? What are the truths? Just honestly, from my opinion, I think obviously, we talked about it a lot, the Slim is going to be a big failure.
Oh yeah.
I think it's going to fail.
I feel like it's
maybe not tremendously, but it's not going to be as good as they want it to
I don't
be.
think they're going to get as many sales as they're expecting. Especially since they kind of undermined that announcement with the Project Scorpio. Because why would you ever buy a Slim when you could just wait a year, get a bunch of money to buy the Scorpio and buy release titles with it? Instead, why would you just get a Slim?
Excuse you, by the way, for that little snub.
Thank you.
Gotta keep your health safe. But kind of to play off that a little bit, I think a big success actually coming out of this year's E3 is probably Project Scorpio.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be.
Because I'm interested in that. I want 4K games. I want 6,000 terabytes of millions of years of data.
I'm very excited about 4K.
I want the 4K. I mean, honestly, most of these games are going to be successes, obviously, because they're pretty tried and true.
These are games that people are excited for. Gears 4, Sea of Thieves. I don't know if many people knew about that or even remembered it from last year.
Rare Studios.
But it looks cool.
I mean, honestly, a good majority of these games are like either sequels or continuation of series, so it's kind of hard to see them fail, honestly. Yeah. I mean, honestly, you're not doing many new things. Like Gwent is obviously a new thing, but that's kind of a smaller game. It's free to play.
Yeah, like thousands and thousands of people are emailing CD Projekt Red.
I mean, Death Stranding is new, but it's Hideo Kojima, Norman Reedus butt. So I mean, there's no way that's gonna.
I think that Norman Reedus booty, animated booty, brought people in.
So I mean, I think like obviously most of these games are gonna be big successes. I honestly, the thing I'm most probably like on the fence about whether it's gonna be a big win or a big fail is the new VR things that are coming out.
Yeah.
Honestly, like the way they're like Bethesda said, Fallout 4 you can play in VR now.
Same with Doom.
I
think honestly, that'd be good in VR.
I'm on the other side. Like Fallout 4 maybe because it's a bit slower of a game, but it's gonna be a lot of like you do a lot of things that you can't really do in VR. Especially Doom is I think way too fast for most people to actually be able to keep up and compete.
I don't know. I'm with you on multiplayer maybe not being too well, but I don't know. Multiplayer is really that fleshed out on VR yet, but the single player easily.
I mean, single player is always an easier beast to handle.
pretty sure Doom already got huge praise for like having a really, really good single player.
It's a really good single player because it's the Doom classic of just shoot everyone. As the title card says, rip and tear until it's done. The best title card ever.
And I think even the story just got like it was very
like the audio logs and stuff that you can find because most of the story is just ripping and tearing, which is nice.
Rip and tear.
Back to the main thing. I mean, obviously, I said it before. I think my winner of the game that's going to get the most traction, the most awards, probably the most love from fans is probably Death Stranding. Now
we don't even know what that is yet.
I wanted to kind of play on that. I don't know if it's going to be good because it warrants itself to be good, or just because it's Hideo Kojima's new game because we all hate Konami now.
Yeah. People might buy it and make it successful out of spite.
Just in spite of Konami. Honestly, I probably wouldn't want to see that happen. But also, I hate Konami because I want to see it happen. I'm kind of part of the problem. I think that's going to be a big winner. Do you think there were any kind of things that especially maybe from Ubisoft's conference that are going to end up not being triggering a controversy in the future? Like Battlefield 1, I think if they don't remedy kind of DLC situation, that could turn into something pretty big. Like fans being very angry about certain things.
Yeah. With the backlash that they might get from this, France not being in it, it could be a problem. But I think I don't like comparing Call of Duty to Battlefield, but in the same vein, people will hate on it to no end, but it'll still be successful because everybody still wants to play it. But something that might fail would, I don't want to say Watch Dogs 2, but probably Watch Dogs 2.
I think people will just be, unless the gameplay that comes out when it is released is so good and so streamlined, people will be too weary of it.
Unless that gameplay that they showed was actual gameplay, that gameplay we'll actually see when it releases, it might be another flop like Watch Dogs 1.
And honestly, like with a lot of these, they have the luxury of going off of a game that was really good. Like the first one of the first iterations were really good.
Yeah.
Whereas Watch Dogs 2 was going off of one that was very bad, very not liked by critics and fans.
It got a lot of sales because people were excited, but after the fact, people did not like it.
So they kind of got to trench dig themselves out of that one. I think unless EA and Visceral and Respawn can get their crap together, the Star Wars stuff might end up being a failure like Star Wars Battlefront was, because no one plays it anymore.
We might see a story from it.
Say
that single-player campaign.
Maybe a movie tie-in with Rogue One that's coming out. We already saw Lego Star Wars Episode 7, so, we got the tie-in there.
Hey, those Lego games are always going to be successful. I don't know how they do it, but they do it.
And honestly, just to kind of wrap up a little bit, because we're running over time just a little bit, I think the big thing that we should keep an eye on, especially in the coming month, is the the one new console, because the Slim is kind of its own thing.
Yeah.
Really keep an eye on those, because those are the ones that I think will either gain the most traction or lose the most traction, and will definitely be the most interesting.
Very much so, yeah.
Like I'm kind of waiting, because the Slim isn't out yet. Obviously, when it comes out in August, I'm kind of excited to see how reviewers and developers kind of look at it and use it, because if it is very fantastic, very very good, and it is only $300. They might actually, now that I think about it just a little bit, it might kind of overturn the Scorpio. When the Scorpio comes out, people saying, well, why would I bother buying it if I already have the Slim? It might reverse itself,
I don't know. I mean, I guess we can't really speak too much to the Scorpio until we learn more about it, because right now we're just like, it's going to be really fast. It can play games in 4K. Until we learn more about it, I don't know if we can speak too much to it.
Speaking of 4K, did Xbox or Microsoft, do you remember, did they say that, because I don't really know how resolutions work that much, because I'm not in that sphere of technology. If the output of the video is at 4K, but your TV isn't 4K, can it still can it read the 4K, I guess, or will it look like it's 1080?
I think you'll still need that 4K TV.
The 4K TV? I mean, that's kind of I guess.
But I think the 4K stuff is going to become more commonplace.
I guess this is
it's going to get cheaper.
This is, especially Microsoft will be the ones doing this, saying, okay guys, this is the push for 4K. We need it now. Our videos, our TV is going to be in it. Our movies are going to be in it. Our YouTube's going to be in it.
Yeah.
Our games are going to be in it. Everyone get a 4K TV now.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the calling card for
and
that.
If not, everybody doesn't get the 4K TVs right off the bat. They're essentially future-proofing their console.
They're future-proofing the console.
They're getting ready because they want this the Scorpio to be the console that defines the generation. They want this to be the console.
Now this is kind of a question that I just thought of. Do you think the Scorpio is going to be its own thing away from the Xbox One, or do you think it's going to be like an Xbox One Prime Super thing? Building on even the Slim technology.
It'll probably build on the Slim because I don't know. It'll probably take from the same concepts. They want to make it smaller, more sleek, but I don't know. I think it's going to be its own console. How there's Xbox 360 One. I think this is going to be the next iteration.
Very, very cool. Well, guys, I kind of, unfortunately, a little bit because we're just so time constrained with the stupid technology problems that we have with our capture.
Sorry about that again, guys.
Please look at all the links in the description for
Down
all the
below.
betas, all of the info, all of the videos, all of the butts at E3 that we saw.
Anything that you might want to see will be down there. Otherwise, I'm really sorry.
Check your mail for the free PS4s. We know your address. We got all the NSAs.
We already have all the information.
We got all of it. Please join us in the coming weeks, Wednesdays at 7 p.m.
Yep. We'll be back in 2 weeks.
Something like that. We'll figure that out later. We'll give you an announcement on the Facebooks, on the Twitters. on the UNF's Spinnaker Twitters. What's the YouTube address again?
YouTube.com/C/Spinnaker Television.
And if you're on campus channel 170, we're working on getting onto radio, which is Spinnaker Radio 95.5, WSKR,
Whisker.
WLPF, whatever. I always forget the last little bit. We'll probably be on there, maybe not this show, maybe the next show. Still, regardless, listen to it. It's a great program.
Look for it.
Some of my greatest friends are on there.
Yeah.
We'll see ya. We'll see you when we see you, I guess, because I forgot already the date that we're supposed to premiere again. I'm Johnson Tyler McCrone.
I'm Brandon Diaz.
Growing up. This is Birds of Play. Activating turn off robot now.